Welcome to Fortnite Trading Card Hub. Today we are going to break down the PSA Pop Report. Today is October 1st, 2022. It's been about 5 months since the previous analysis and 10 months from the original analysis. I still have all that data and we will use that to compare some trends. First up, we got the total amount graded. At the top right of the screen, you can look under the October column. As of today, we have 10,124 cards graded. And if you take a look at the other two columns for December and April, you can see a trend going on here. And if we calculate from December to October, we had a 262% increase, which is pretty significant for a trading card set that's already been out for a few years. PSA's backlog probably had a big part in this, but we will keep this analysis going every 5 to 6 months and see how it plays out in the future. Now, out of all of the cards graded thus far, surprisingly, base and crystals are graded approximately evenly. Holos are almost half of all grades, and then promos are 5%. So not a whole lot you can take from this. People are going to grade what they like and what they think they can get the best return on. Now, out of all the slabs that have been submitted to PSA, 31.2% are PSA 10. This is the exact same percentage as the last analysis, when there was half of the amount of cards that are graded now. Kind of strange, but that's just how it mathed out. Not a whole lot of information you can get from this, but just good information nonetheless. Now, the total number of promo cards that have been submitted and graded are 589. This is a 116% increase since our December data. This is probably the last time we'll see a large jump like this, if I'm a betting man, which I am. So we'll see how this looks in 5 months. Now, the data set that we've all been waiting for, the crystal shards. December of 2021, there was 1,092. April, 1577. In October, we are up to 2,561. So a 62% increase since our last analysis. However, they are pretty evenly spread across the collection. Now, if we break down the crystals a little bit further, our potential USA crystal shards have gone up significantly from 933 to 1,719. 84% increase. Now, the desirability of USA crystals have a big part in this analysis, and people are less inclined to grade their Italy crystal shards because they have a little bit more quality control problems. I wouldn't say there's a lot you can infer from this data. It's more just informational. So we'll keep on moving. Next, we'll talk about the holo slabs. The potential USAs are up to 4,474. We're just shy of 500 with Italy, and Brazil's looking real lonely down there with 24. Now, remember, a lot of the Brazilian cards have a surface issue and are littered with problems, so it probably doesn't make a lot of sense for people to send them in to get graded unless they have a chance of getting a mint or gem mint card. So that's why the population will forever be low, and you would definitely want to keep an eye out for PSA 10s. Base, we have 2,567 slabs. I didn't really break this down because it takes so long. I imagine a lot of people aren't real crazy about base cards. I did use this for a lot of my percentages, so I still needed to know the total amount. Now, the amount of crystal shards that were sent for grading percentage-wise is almost identical over the last 10 months, and you can see that here with this percentage calculation. Out of all the cards that were submitted, we had 346 new PSA 10s. Which is 35% of all of these submissions. It's pretty good in my opinion. Curious what you guys think in the comments. Now, this is a fun one. From the last video, we had 23% of the USA crystal shards that had never gotten a PSA 10. Here is that list. I specifically called out Dynamo last video, but this list has taken a massive cut. With PSA finally catching up, we knocked all but 6 off the list. Paddywhacker, Arctic Assassin, Abominable Axe, Mayhem, Mesmer, and Stage Slayer. I rock that dude all the time in the game. Now, another interesting fact, we had 2 Pop Zero shards, and that was Tinsel Toes and Abominable Axe, number 134 and number 157. Those both have been officially graded, so we have no true Pop Zero USA crystal shards anymore. All right, but now let's start getting into some real nitty-gritty details so we can really figure out what's going on with the hobby. All right, so real quick, I'll go over the layout just so you know what you're looking at. On the far left column here, we got all the numbers of the cards and obviously the name of the cards. This is specifically for USA crystal shards, this layout. Third column here is going to have all the cards that are less than PSA 9. In the next column, we have all the PSA 9s and then PSA 10s, and then the total number graded for that particular card. This is as of 10/1/2022. We move over to column J. We have all of our previous data from April. So these are the total counts from April. And then in K, we have the amount that has changed. So the newly graded crystal shards since April. And then just one more little data set for funsies. We got the old PSA 10 count from April and then the new PSA 10 count as of today. So we might as well go ahead and see what is at the top of the list. I'm pretty sure we can all imagine. All right, so we got the Black Knight USA Crystal Shard sitting here with 35 graded. Now, the most interesting thing from this entire data set is that there was only one Black Knight graded in all of April through October 1st. And this is rather surprising. And on top of that, it wasn't even a PSA 10. So we've had no additional PSA 10s to the Black Knight. The Skull Trooper has increased by 2 PSA 10s. And it was already at 18 before, so not really hurting its appeal, in my opinion. Still, overall, we have less Skull Troopers than the Black Knight. Now, Peely did have 2 PSA 10 editions and 3 graded in total, bringing its total to 24. And I'm honestly surprised it didn't go up a lot more than that. It's still got a long way to go to catch up to the Black Knight, and it's definitely just as desired, if not more. So this number is actually pretty low, in my opinion. Now we can skim through these and try to find our other fan favorites. We got Gold Trooper with 21, so we had 7 new additions, but only 1 PSA 10 added. The Red Knight, we had 5 submitted, only 2 PSA 10s added. Lux, we only had 2 submitted, only 1 PSA 10 addition. So that brings that total to 7. So Lux and Gold Trooper are right on par with each other. Fish Stick, right there with them. Drift, we had 4 new additions. We had 4 new additions, but no PSA 10s are added. This is a very, very scarce card, guys. I would be looking for this one heavy. PSA 9s are going to be just as valuable as PSA 10s. I would watch out for this one. Bright Bomber had 4 additions, 2 PSA 10s. Arachne, 6 additions, 3 PSA 10s. So it's getting a little closer to reality here. We had some major increases in some of these numbers down here. So Royal Knight had 9 submissions, 9 submissions and 4 PSA 10s. Raptor had 8 and 2. Rex had 8 and 4. Wukong 4 and 1. Finally seeing a little bit of respect on the Visitor. We had 5 submissions with 3 PSA 10s. Skull Ranger still low pop, 15. Dark Bomber, one of the most desired cards, and she only has 14 population. She did have a little increase. That was a pretty big increase percentage-wise, but she's got a long way to go. DJ Yonder down here, we had 6 submissions. That's pretty hefty. Dynamo went from having a 0 pop and PSA 10, but now she's got 2. 7 total. Definitely a card I'm looking for. So if you have a PSA 10 Dynamo, hit me up. So my personal opinion, the most desired / scarcest card, like the combination between the two, is the Pump Shotgun, with Power Chord being a very close second. Only 7 power chords. That's insane. Dynamo 7, insane. So a lot of people were expecting these numbers to go way up once PSA caught up, but in all reality, they did not. In fact, the only ones that really went up were cards that had 0 pop or very low pop to begin with. I think Calamity was the biggest increase. Yeah, Calamity, Reflex, Royal Knight. But even with those additions, they're not even close to where the Black Knight is. So, for this card being worth, anywhere from $16,000 to $50,000, that there's only 35. That should be an eye-opener to all the people that's really looking into the hobby. So the cards with the most PSA 10s, we got Skull Trooper and Peely. There might be some population control going on with the Black Knight. It happens. PSA just does that kind of stuff. But the Red Knight's looking just as juicy as the Black Knight, in my opinion. So I don't want to keep this video too long. I think we got a good look at what's going on. Everything's proportional across the collection. So typically what we see in the Crystal Shard realm is what we see in the Holo realm. Except, Holos are more abundant. So we'll see roughly, give or take 10%, the same amount of increase. It would take me weeks to really dive and dissect that data. If it's something you guys are really, really interested in, just leave me a comment below. But I'll tell you what, if you're not a subscriber, I'm not even entertaining that question. All right, but until next time, guys, you guys take care and catch you on the flip side.